Hello, everyone. Welcome to KL Tag Meetup. This is our first virtual meetup, and thank you all for joining us. Um, this is the first time we've done the meetup. Usually, we all meet together, get a chance to network with each other, and spend some time. But because of the situation, so this is a way around, and we thought, why not keep the momentum going? But let's do it virtually. So, yes, thank you so much for joining. And so, what I'm going to be doing is just a quick presentation on what we're about to do, what KL Tug is all about. And in case you have joined us for the first time, please feel free to reach out to any of us. We'll be happy to uh, answer all your questions. And so, let's get started. Um, okay, one sec. Yeah. Little bit about me. So I have been part of KL Tug since the beginning, and right now I'm working as a senior analyst with British American Tobacco, and it's fun working on the tool as well as meeting people who are enthusiastic about it. And if you also want to be a part of it, again, you can reach out to us. A little bit about KL Tug. So we started in November 2018, and we
Hey
have
Risha,
hosted four.
sorry to interrupt here. I don't think you're sharing your screen.
Oopsie. Can you all see my screen now?
All good now.
Yes. Okay, great. Okay, thank you for pointing out, Celine. So yes, so I was talking about KL user group. So we started in November 2018, and ever since then we have hosted four events in Kuala Lumpur, and this is our fifth event. Um, so you can join us in any of the channels, whichever suits you. So we are there on Facebook, we are there on LinkedIn, so you get all information about the group, what we do, and in fact, you can reach out to us anytime if you want to participate in the next events, if you want to be a part of the next events, or just want to brainstorm or share what you would like to see. So you can reach out to us in any of the two channels anytime. So yes, do follow us there. So you will be up to date with any news which is related to KL Tug. So this is our first meetup, which we did in February 2019. Um, so yeah, we had quite a few participants, about 45 of them, and I'm going to show you more pictures, some happy memories. This was in June. This was held in ATX. Um, the next one in August, and the latest one was in November last year. This was held in iFlix. So let me introduce you to the other co-leaders of the team. So we have Rajiv, and Rajiv has recently come to Malaysia from India, and he is working with AirAsia, and he will be taking a session today. It's a hands-on session, so if you don't have a Tableau public or a Tableau desktop, I would request you to download it soon because it will be easier for you to follow along with him, and also you can shoot any questions you want to. We have Ratish with us. Ratish will be taking another session, which is a fun quiz. So he will be throwing some questions at you, and you have to think through, answer, and yes, there are a lot of prizes. And trust me, you don't want to miss that. We have Nilesh. Nilesh couldn't join us today. He's not doing well, but but yeah, maybe in the upcoming sessions you can definitely get a chance to meet him. And last but not the least, we have Thomas with us. Thomas is working with Shopee, and he's working as a senior marketing analyst. And right after this session, he's going to walk you through and help you understand how you can start your Tableau journey if you in case haven't. And if you are using this tool, then different ways to basically boost and upskill yourself. And of course, you, the most important member of the team. So this is little bit of the agenda. So like I said, Thomas will be taking over the session. So he'll be talking about ways to brush up your Tableau skills. And over to you, Thomas.
Thank you, Richa. Hello, everyone. Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Currently, I am based in Almaty, Kazakhstan, so it is still early time over here. So I think that you are seeing my screen, right? Can you give me a sign that you are seeing my screen?
Yep, we can.
Okay. Welcome everyone to the TUGKL Meetup, the virtual edition, the first virtual edition that we are running with the team. And today I'm gonna share with you how you can brush up your Tableau skills being at home, being stuck at home, and developing or start developing your Tableau skills, start enhancing your Tableau skills. A little bit about myself. Yeah, as Richa presented me, I am Thomas. I'm working as senior marketing analyst at Shopee in Malaysia. And a little like fact about myself that with Tableau skills, or with basically like a data skills, like learning Tableau, I found a job in data after working in sales for 4 years. So really thankful to people who guided me through, especially like Richa, because we were like colleagues together in our previous company. So she guided me through, like introduced myself to Tableau. So I'm really, really thankful to her. Again, like to introducing myself to data and eventually getting a better job and in Shopee. Okay, so a little bit more about the content, what we are going to cover today. It is understanding your why, like why you are here and what you're planning to learn, how to get to your Zen, and the power of the community. So understanding your why is more, I think that kind of like a wake up call for us to stop being in a rush, because I think that back in Malaysia, there are people going back to the normal, to the new normal, as people say, and people started being again like in a rush, being always busy, like doing whatever things that they're supposed to do. Like we are working on weekends, and even working from home, sometimes you are overworking. So there are multiple articles about it, that you are, if you're working from home, you are working more than 8 hours. So let's take this session as a little bit kind of like a self-reflection journey to answer the questions that you're gonna see in the screen shortly. You don't have to answer them orally. It's kind of like a self-reflection journey. There are not gonna be Q&As. They're not gonna be time for you to share. It's a personal journey to ourselves. Okay, let's take a 2 minutes for self-reflection, and for each question I will be giving like 45 seconds max, and then we will be moving to the next question. You can answer to the question orally, or if you have a notebook, maybe you can write down. So let's start. Okay, the first question: who were you before you started working on Tableau, or who were you before you got introduced to Tableau? And 30 seconds starts now. Okay, let's move to the second question. What can you do today that you didn't think you could do a year ago? It can be something that relates to your data skills, your career growth, or your personal development. What can you do today that you didn't think you could do a year ago? And let's go to the third question. What is the most important lesson you ever learned in the past 6 months? The past 6 months when the pandemic started. Again, it can be something that related to data or the personal development. The most important lesson that you learned in the past 6 months. All right, let's go to the next question. What makes you you? What makes you be an outstanding data lover or data person? Or you can write or answer orally to yourself about the 3 things you really love about yourself. What kind of skill makes you an outstanding data person in your company? Or if you're running your company, what makes you an outstanding company? Okay, thanks Ranjini for being proactive and writing the answers on the chat. That's very good. Maybe people who are also on the Zoom also can be sharing this. Okay, and the last question is why you're here. Like maybe you can also use this chat box and use this platform to engage and share your expectations, why you are here, what you're planning to learn, or maybe you are here to share something. Okay, a bit more, and we can go to the next slide. Thank you, Ranjini. And that's all for the self-reflection journey. And I hope that it was useful for you to slow down a bit, like step back and reflect on your own growth. And we are gonna move to the second part of this presentation, how to get your Zen. As you know that there are like different, I don't know, positions in Tableau that you can have, like Zen Master, Tableau Master, Tableau Ambassador. So how to get you to your Zen? The first thing, definitely use Tableau every day. Yes, maybe it's super common thing and it's a bit like trivial to put as a first thing, use Tableau every day. But one of the things that I think that we can highlight here is community challenges. So one of the community challenges that you can explore is Makeover Monday or Workout Wednesday. It is, for example, Makeover Monday is a weekly learning and development appointment with yourself and hundreds of passionate data people, and it's free. So you are able to get the data sets on a weekly basis, and the data sets can vary from different topics, and it's very, very interesting. And you can submit on your Tableau public, you are uploading on your Tableau public, and you are sharing on Twitter using the hashtag Makeover Monday or Workout Wednesday. And then by the end of the week, they are giving you the feedback featuring the best dashboards, and definitely data people will be like, it's kind of like a peer-to-peer learning where everyone can share how else you can enhance your Tableau skills or that specific dashboard. So these kind of like a community challenges that are available over there. And another thing that I really admire or I really like is participating on social data projects, being more into the social projects and running like 3 or 4 social projects in Malaysia and in Kazakhstan. I think that this opportunity is also going to be useful for you to know, like hashtag this for social good. you are getting the project from a nonprofit organization, and by your knowledge in data, by your perspective, or by your intuition or proof, how you can solve this or whatever problem that they are sharing with you, I think that this opportunity will be definitely, this data set that you are going to provide will be definitely useful for that nonprofit organization. So you can either participate in a project or in a hackathon. And definitely the third thing that is very good in participating in social data projects is that you're leaving the impact by doing whatever you're doing on a daily basis. So that's one thing that you can also explore and out there for you. Another thing that the second part, how you can enhance your or brush up your skills, is definitely get the Tableau certified. You can read on the screen that analytical skill is the third most needed hard skill in 2020, according to LinkedIn. And basically, once you have these examinations done, you are making your profile, you're making your CV stand out from the crowd, like stand out from the rest of hundreds and thousands of CVs that majority of companies are receiving. So these are the opportunities that you can get, and you can enhance your skill. And if you're working in a company and you are using Tableau on a daily basis, definitely your company will be able to subsidize the cost, because the product exams are not free. But be proactive, ask your company to go through the courses, to go through the exams, and put that in CV. Shout about it and stand out from the crowd. You can see the link, tableau.com learn certification. And one of the most important things for myself is definitely enhancing the soft and hard skills. A little bit about the hard skills. As you know, the Tableau is just one stack of the entire data pipeline. We should understand this. And without the clean data or data repository, you will not be able to achieve any end result. So there are these kind of like hard skills that you can enhance is the ETL, SQL, or any scripting languages as R or Python. And after this session, you will be having the session about how you can clean up the data with Tableau Desktop. But a little bit more about the soft skills, as I think that data people and all the tech people perceive as the soft skill as the least prioritized, but I believe that it's yet one of the important skill that you need to have nowadays in this current scenario or century, while you are understanding who is your customer, for who you're preparing your dashboard. And one of the things I think that here I would like to highlight is do not find customers for your dashboard, create dashboard for your customers. And how do we understand this is what is really important is communicate clearly and concisely. And these are the questions that probably will help you answer them. Like, what is really important on the dashboard that you're creating? Who is your customer? Who is your end customer that you are creating for? Or what story do you want to tell with this data set? Like, what kind of hypothesis do you want to prove? Or what kind of challenge do you want to solve? So these kind of things that you should answer before you start working on these data sets and creating the dashboard. And another thing that also useful is not to forget that you are in a team, that you're working together. Definitely as a data person, you need to know how to work on your own pace, like as individually, but you are having like multiple stakeholders to work with, like with IT people, with business departments and the rest. So these are the things that really require to have, I think that nowadays for data people to be more versatile and not only work on data. And how to do that, I think that it's very easy to say like, oh, work together or be more precise or clear. You can use TUGKL as a platform for your own growth. Like TUGKL is a platform, is a community Tableau user group in Kuala Lumpur, where you can present your findings, where you can enhance your public speaking, or you can enhance your communication style, or the way how you are proving your hypothesis. So maybe you on the next TUGKL meetup this year, you'll be able to present your findings or your work, or maybe you can use this platform, the community that we are building, that we have in KL, to partner up with someone to work on enhancing your Tableau skills. Because right now, I believe that we have like around 20 people over here with the same mindset, like of developing our Tableau skills or sharing our knowledge. So partner up with these people. If you really want to share your findings, or you want to present your present your work and work on your public speaking, get the feedback from more experienced people, reach out to us, reach out to myself. In the end of the presentation, you will see the contact list, the contact details. And one of the important things for myself is the data community. The community as a part of the networking, like the community as a part of your own growth. And DataFam Community Jam was created during the pandemic. It's a regular series of virtual events to run while we are unable to meet in person. And I think that the upcoming DataFam community is going to be on September 4th. You can find more details on this via this link. And definitely connect to the rest of the people, like Tableau people, data people, and connect with them, work together, and just network. That would be one of the things one of the ways how you can enhance your Tableau skills. And these are the extra materials that you can look up. You can screenshot this screen, the training and tutorials that are available in the internet, and the books. The books would be also good for your own growth. And that's all from my side. Thank you so much, everyone. And I'm gonna introduce you the next speaker, our Zen Master and Tableau Ambassador, Rajiv Pandey, who is gonna talk about the data cleanup techniques on Tableau desktop. The words to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Thomas. Can I share my screen? And let me share my screen. Are you guys able to see my screen? And
yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. First of all, thanks Thomas and Richa for the wonderful introduction, and thanks Thomas for sharing all the details which you just shared. I'm pretty sure that it will definitely help all the Tableau lovers or Tableau learners to go through all those links, and they can learn, they can contribute, and they can also introduce themselves not only as a Tableau beginner, but also as a Tableau advanced user, and they can start this journey and help other members. So it's a chain kind of thing. What we are doing, you can also start doing the same thing, so that the ripple effect will not only impact you, but all the Tableau learners who wanted to learn Tableau or any other BI tool which they are planning to use for their upcoming data journey. So for today's session, I'll be taking a data cleanup techniques, and I'll tell you how exactly we can use Tableau to clean a messy data, and how exactly we can convert a messy data into an insightful data. Now, the beauty of this presentation that I will not be using any other ETL tool or any scripting language like Python or a script to convert that data into a meaningful data. The entire process or the entire technique which I'm going to tell you are completely within Tableau itself. So if you are never aware, or if you don't have any idea about any of the ETL tool like Tableau Prep, Alteryx, Trifacta, so don't worry about that. We will not be using any other tool. The entire operation or the entire technique which I'm going to share are completely available within Tableau. So if you are using Tableau Personal Edition, or if you are using Tableau Professional Edition, or if you are using Tableau Public, feel free to start using this data as part of their practice and come up with an insightful widget. So let's start. So this is a small introduction about myself. So I am Rajiv. I'm a Tableau Gen Master, a Tableau Ambassador, 3 times Tableau Public Ambassador, Tableau Featured Author, Data Evangelist from India. I'm actually a part of AirAsia, working as a data specialist and multidisciplinary designer, and taking care entire data visualization, interaction design, and innovation. My main job as data specialist is to provide robust and scalable solution for high impact business problems. I do have my own website. You can also reach out to that website and learn some new techniques, some unconventional charts, and some of the best practices of data visualization, how you can effectively tell a story by using some storyline perspective. So all those things are available in my website. The name of my website is wizardpandey.com. I also have a Twitter account, which you can see here. If you want to connect me in any of the social media, either Twitter and LinkedIn, you can use the link which is mentioned here. Now, without any further delay, let's start. Now, I want to start this journey with a very famous quote from Mr. Mill. What he mentioned, bad data is no better than no data. So if you think this is 100% correct. Now, if you are having a bad data and if you are taking any decision on top of those bad data, the decision is not correct. The insights which you are getting from that data is also not correct. So why exactly correct data or clean data is the necessity of today's a better, insightful data with making process? Now we need to understand why data is important. So basically, data is a information which we are using on a daily basis. It's not only like we are only using data for our dashboard. We are using data on almost everywhere. You are calling, you are talking, you are adding some comments on social media. All those information, all those activities which we are using are basically a part of data. Sometimes what we are talking, the Zoom which we are using as part of recording, that is also a kind of data. So if you think clearly, whatever activities which we are doing on this digital era, everything is basically converted into data. So the data which we are using, it's very much required. It's the necessity that the data which we are using for our analysis, it should be clean data. Otherwise, the decision or the strategic decision which you are taking or which your company is taking on top of your data will not give you correct output, and it will definitely lead to some sort of discrepancy. So we should be very careful what kind of data which we are using and how exactly we should use these kind of data. Now, although we are talking about bad data, but first we should understand what exactly a bad data, why exactly we are concerned about bad data. So a very simple definition, a data that gets in the way of your analysis is called bad data. Now, and if you think clearly, like no matter what kind of analysis you are doing, you must have encountered a bad data at least once or on a daily basis, because there are very few companies who are 100% giving you a perfect data, or they are not having a correct data repository or data warehouse which generates 100% accurate data. If you really want an accurate data, you definitely need an SME, which is a subject matter expert, who can certify your data source and tell that, okay, the data which you are going to use are 100% correct. And the person who is certifying, he might be certifying from the domain perspective, but sometimes when you are doing a technical analysis on top of your data, being a part of your data analysis journey, or if you are a data analyst, it's your responsibility to take a look and see what all things went wrong or what could be the things which you need to take care before converting that data into a dashboard. So that's the first check. Now, how exactly we should consider data as dirty data? What all things we should consider as dirty data? So first thing is called misleading data. Now, there are a couple of things. If you see, there are a lot of news channels who are promoting some sort of news. There might be 100% accuracy, or there might be some sort of discrepancy. So they are not giving the kind of data which we are expecting, or 100% correct data. So that kind of data is considered as misleading data. In couple of times, in like almost everyone might have faced this challenge, duplicate data. There are certain rows which got duplicated when you are extracting the data either from an Excel file or from a DB like SQL Server or GCP environment, anything. So it's pretty common that we often get these type of data discrepancy, that we are ending up with duplicate data. Now there are something which is called incorrect data and inaccurate data. So let's take an example that you are having a web form and you are entering all your details. When you are entering your details, there might be chances that the web form is not having a proper error check, and you might have entered an incorrect detail. So in place of gender, you might have entered a numerical entity. So that gives you an incorrect data. And if you are not adding those type of error checks, the data which your database is collecting is also giving you the incorrect information. So we have to be very careful and we have to be very clever when we are defining a web form or any sort of form which directly collects data from our customer or from our user. This often occurs in terms of like whenever we are doing a feedback analysis or we are doing a customer satisfaction survey, we often encounter these type of discrepancy. So we have to be very careful how exactly we are designing those web forms. Now, if we think about in a very simple way, if we are getting a data which is which is incorrect or which are inconsistent, then we have to be very careful how exactly we are dealing with that data, because it directly affects the business rules. Your company is expecting certain percentage of revenue growth, but because of your wrong analysis, it's not giving you the correct output. It might be your wrong calculation, it might be your wrong data, or it might be your wrong interpretation. So we have to be very careful how exactly we are telling a story, how exactly we are projecting a story. So whenever you are creating a dashboard, it's your responsibility. Being a data analyst, it's one of your responsibility that you should also check your domain specific understanding. You should check your calculation. You should check all the preferences which you should consider. Is there any particular exception rule which you need to define when you are projecting a number to your senior management? So these are a couple of checkpoints which you need to keep in mind when when you are performing a data analysis. Now, there are a couple of other examples, data that violates business rules. So sometimes when we are capturing the data, we are not performing a correct check. So sometimes, let's take an example, your company defines a date in the form of MMDDYY, but when you are capturing the data, you are not following a correct date format. So that's a kind of violation of your business rule. So you have to define the kind of capturing technique which should justify your business rule. Second, sometimes you might have experienced the kind of formatting issue, or sometimes it leads to some spelling error. So people often do these type of mistakes, and we, as part of our analysis, we have to make sure we should club those part of analysis into one particular aggregated measures, or we should define a particular dimension which should remove all those spelling errors which you are getting quite often, so that we can club and put it into one particular value. So these are a couple of examples which you can consider as your dirty data, like misleading data, duplicate data, inaccurate data. So whenever you are getting a data, it might be 100% accurate data, or it might be 100% incorrect data. But don't worry, start a chronological order where you put all your checkpoints, try to thoroughly check all your checkpoints and see how exactly you can remove those errors and you can extract a meaningful information from your data. Now, if you see, when you are getting a bad data, and we are working in IT industry where we have very strict timelines. And when someone says that by end of your day, you have to deliver a dashboard, and when you received a new month data, you have encountered a lot of data challenges. So you are getting frustrated because till last month, everything was working fine. But now, whenever you updated your data sets, or whenever you added a new rows of records, you actually found out that, okay, there is some issue, and you were trying to identify what went wrong. Is there any workflow error which you created while doing your data cleanup techniques? Have you missed any business rule which was not there in your previous quarter or in your previous month, but now it started appearing? Have you done those validation checks? Now you often result these kind of frustration, and it will definitely give you, and if it will basically leads to a frustration which will give you an idea that, okay, what exactly went wrong, how exactly I can rectify it, what would be the next step I should do. So based on my previous experience, whenever we are getting these type of challenges, we are making it sure that we should add those points as part of our validation script, so that going forward, if same thing happens in future, our validation script will capture those things and it will not lead to those kind of discrepancies again. So it should not be like, okay, once you resolved it and you just forgot it. Don't do that. Whenever you are seeing these kind of validation, or whenever you are seeing these kind of discrepancy, try to develop a habit and add all those things into your checkpoints, and try to incorporate all those checkpoints in your workflow during the initial importing stage, so that it will not give you incorrect output. So try to maintain these points. It will definitely help you a lot. Now we are talking about bad data, but first we need to think that, okay, even if we have bad data, how exactly we will convert that bad data into a clean data, into a good data. So we should know what is data cleaning, or we should call it as data cleansing. So data cleaning is also called as data cleansing. So basically what exactly you need to do, you have to develop a process where you have to make sure the data which you are importing, or the data which is coming from different or multiple sources, it should be correct, consistent, and usable. Now, when I'm saying correct, people often think about that, okay, once the data is correct, we can directly use it inside our analysis. But you have to also think one more point, which is consistent. Because sometimes data might be correct, but you are losing the consistency of the data. It should follow a particular pattern. Just because data is correct, and if your data is not consistent, then definitely it will lead to some sort of discrepancy. So whenever you are doing a data cleanup, either by using an ETL tool like Alteryx, Trifacta, or like Python scripting, you are using some Python scripting or R scripting for doing some initial data cleanup, you should make sure you should follow these best practices of data cleaning. Then only you will get the outcome which you are looking for. Now, once the data cleanup is done, you have to make sure that this should be the normal process, and you should report those findings if it's happening more frequently. So if you are getting some sort of error, it's your responsibility to jot it down. If you are using any sort of tracking tool like Jira or Rally, try to put all those points in your Jira and mention that, okay, why exactly this error occurs? What could be the cause of this errors? How you rectified it? How exactly it can help other team members to improve those techniques? How exactly they can incorporate those techniques in their day-to-day cleanup activities? Try to mention one particular points, and so that it not only helps you, it will not only help you, but it will also help your upcoming generation, or it will also help your team members to follow the same technique. So whenever you are finding some sort of discrepancy, try to maintain a particular link, or it might be Jira, or even if you're not having Jira or Rally, what you can do, you can just add a simple blog post and you can share among your team members that this is what my finding is, and this could be the cause of this error and how I rectified it. So that in future, if other team members are also facing the same problem, they can refer those articles or blog posts which you distributed long back. Now, when you are doing a data cleaning, what all benefits you are getting in terms of data cleaning? So first, if your data is correct, the first thing what we are getting, it will definitely improve our decision-making process, because once the data is correct, the number which you are showing on your dashboard will definitely give you a correct number, right? If your number is correct, it's easy for your strategic team. If it's easy for your end users to take decision on top of it, because your numbers are correct. You are showing a correct reflection of the forecasting. So all those things basically depends on your data cleanup process. Now, once the data is clean, you need not require to waste too much of your time. It is definitely saving your time as well as saving your team's effort also, so that you can contribute your time to some other activities. Now, once your data cleanup is done and you are 100% sure the data which you are getting as part of your output file are 100% correct, it will also help you to streamline the entire business practices, because you know what went wrong and now you have rectified all those mistakes. Now you have defined a workflow which will capture all those discrepancies which was happening quite often. So you have rectified it and now you have streamlined the entire process. Third is like, it will definitely, as I stated earlier, it will definitely save your time and increase your productivity. And once the data is correct, it will also help you boost your results and revenue numbers. Any confusion so far, or any question, or should I proceed? Anyone is having any question, or we can take it after this session also. So now when we are having, or whenever we are using data analysis, we often encounter two types of tables. Like no matter whether you are dealing with million rows of data or whether you are dealing with 100 rows of data, you often encounter two types of tables, which is called wide tables and another one is called long tables. When we are using wide tables, we are using more columns. And when we are talking about long tables, we are using more rows. And based on our analysis, every table has its own importance. It depends what all KPIs you want to extract from your data. So you can extract few KPIs where you can restrict the number of columns. But if you need 15 to 20 KPIs, and if you are designing some financial dashboard, you might be interested in seeing all aspect of different columns. So there you need to decide how many columns you should incorporate inside your Tableau so that you can use those columns as part of your analysis. And if you are trying to follow some sort of pattern, there you can follow more long tables because you are trying to find some trend out of it. So there is no point of putting multiple columns. It's better to use more number of columns so that you can find some trend. And again, it's completely your choice how exactly you are performing some sort of data analysis. There is no hard and fast rule that you should use wide tables or long tables. It's completely your choice how exactly you want to convey your thoughts or how exactly you want to portray the storytelling. Now, so let me just, so let's start a hands-on session. I know we have covered quite a bit, but once you get this idea by using hands-on session, then you will realize how beautifully Tableau can convert a messy data into a meaningful data, and you can design your dashboards on top of it. So I'll give you a little demonstration which gives you an idea that how you can convert messed up data or bad data into an insightful data sets. So let me just check. So I think Richa has already shared this file with you. So if you can download it, that's also good. Otherwise, what you can do, I'm just sharing my screen, and you can follow along with me, and probably we can do it together. And once this session is done, you can just practice it. Now, let me just open the data set. So this is a data sets which I downloaded from US website, which talks about an annual estimates of resident population and which are distributed across different states. And the data which I am showing basically part of it is in between the range of April 1st to 2016, right? 2010 to 2016. Now let's take an example. Your manager has given you this data and they ask you to come up with something which gives them an idea which particular state is having maximum population. Or if you can come up with some other insights, that's also good. But just for simplicity, I'm giving you a very simple question that your manager wants to do some sort of analysis where he is interested more in finding which particular US states is having maximum population. So this is the kind of data. Now there is one question and I want everyone to contribute, and let's do it a kind of session instead of just a part of webinar. Now, I want you to look into this data and try to give me 4 or 5 points which you considered that can affect your data analysis. So let me just show you. So this is the entire data. Let me just increase the size of the font so that you all can see. Yes. Now, this is the data sets which you are getting as part of your analysis. Now, let me go back. This is the entire data sets which you are getting. Now, I want each and everyone to have a look and see what all things you considered as a bad data which can affect your data analysis. Now, I'm giving you 5 minutes. Just think. Try to understand. I'm just putting this particular session hold for 5 minutes. You can have a look. You can just see. If you want me to scroll, just ping. I'll scroll and will show you what all things you are looking for. But just try to identify the information which you consider it as bad data or it can affect the analysis. Don't think that you have to solve this challenge as part of your Tableau data analysis, if you are very proficient in Excel, if you are very proficient in Python or R, try to think from that perspective also, because data analysis has nothing to do with a particular tool. The process is to come up with a clean data. Now, can you please share the link to download data? Due to technical issue, I had to restart my laptop. Thank you. Let me repeat one more time. What you need to do, just try to identify the bad data in this data set. Now, I also want to know those who are familiar with Excel or Google Sheet. I also want to know one thing. If you think that, okay, instead of using Tableau, if you need to perform the data cleanup within Excel, how much time will it take you to convert this messy data into a meaningful data? I also want you to give me a time. It can be 15 minutes, it can be an hour, it can be 30 minutes, but based on your understanding, based on your observation, I want you to give me a particular time frame that tells me that, okay, if you are performing that analysis within Excel, how much time will it take? Now I will try to do the same thing within Tableau so that I can compare that whether I can perform these analysis quickly within Tableau or in Excel. So Ranjini mentioned table row when loaded with turn as null. Absolutely correct. If anyone wants me to scroll down, I can do that. So I'm scrolling down. We are all. Chitral also mentioned one thing: merged cells, blank rows, and some rows have comments at the end. Absolutely correct. Now, Chitral, I just want to know where exactly you found a merged cell. Are you talking about the header? I think you are considering this as merged cell. Absolutely correct. Nice. Any other point, guys? Try to think. The purpose is to get the maximum population. Now, if you want to put this particular data set in any BI tool, whether it's Tableau, whether it's Power BI, whether it's Spotfire, anything, what would be the best practices which you should follow? What if you want to create some sort of trend? Date formats, okay. Date formats, header starts at a specific row number, so it might not be fixed. Absolutely correct. Sanjana is saying date formats. Could you be more specific? Now, I think you have got quite a point, and we'll cover what all things we can see. Segregating data as per reason, absolutely correct. Now, I think these are all valid points only. Now, I want each and every member of this particular webinar to think, if you want to resolve all those issues which you have informed me, what could be the time you can think if you want to perform all those analysis inside Excel? Absolutely correct, Chitral. And we will definitely be performing this operation. Now, I'm very curious, if you want to perform the similar analysis within Excel, and if you want to change this messy data into a meaningful data, what could be the time you can think of? Or like if you are a very proficient Excel developer, I can think that it might be 15 minutes. And if you are like intermediate Excel user who are not using Excel quite often, so it might be 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. There must be some number which I want you to just mention it on this chat window so that we can compare which particular process should be more efficient, whether we should do it inside Excel or we should do it inside Tableau. So anyone? Any random number, any random number would be great. 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Okay. Sila, Yashok, to in Excel, you can do it in approx 20 minutes. Very nice. Thanks for sharing, Sanjay. If date size is huge, then Excel is not right choice, maybe 30 minutes. So we have this date. So probably 15 minutes is fine. And Ranjini mentioned 15 minutes. That's also good. So we are getting some numbers. So 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. So anyone else wants to share their thought process? You can use any ETL activities which you have performed based on your experience. You can share the time frame. So I think let's take an average time. So just for the sake of conversation, I'm considering 15 minutes. So if you need to perform the entire analysis, you have to spend 15 minutes in Excel to convert this messy data into an insightful data, or at least a meaningful data set. If you want to convert this data set into a meaningful data set, you have to give your 15 minutes within Excel or within R to come up with some insight, right? What if I'll tell you, you can perform the entire operation in Tableau just within 5 minutes? Do you believe me? You can say yes, no, maybe, anything. And still, when I'm saying 5 minutes, I'm giving you a very hypothetical number and we'll definitely find it out. But you can perform all these operations within 5 minutes, or if you want to be very specific, you can perform it within 1 minute. And I'm giving you 60 seconds. So I can show you that you can convert the entire data sets which you considered as a messy data into an insightful data within 60 seconds. So are you excited? So let's start and we'll see how exactly we can convert this messy data into a meaningful data within Tableau. Now, let me just give you what all errors you can encounter when you are seeing this messy data set. Just put that in. So you can also download this data set from this link, as Richa already shared you the link. It's better to download it from there, and we will share this link one more time after this call. So if those who are not able to download, they can download it later and they can use it as part of their practice. Now, this is the data set which I'm showing you there. Now, if you see what all things you can consider it as bad information. Now, I just pointed it out. Now, if you see one, as someone already mentioned, that you are using multiple headers. That's absolutely correct. We are having multiple headers that contain similar major information. Now, we know that we have a merge cell where we are talking about population estimate for 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, and 2015. But when you put this data into Tableau, that will give you a null value. So we have to be very careful how exactly we are defining the column name. Second one, and this is the second one, if you see on top of Puerto Rico, you have a null row. Now, whenever you are plotting this or whenever you are uploading this data set, you will see there is an empty row. which will affect your analysis. Now, third one, and I'll show you, this is a very crucial part of your data analysis, because if you missed this, you won't be able to treat state as geographic data type. It will give you an information. Tableau treats this particular column attributes as text file, right? I'll show you. And the fourth one is geographic units. Now you already divided the states into regional information, into state information, and again you divided that geographic units, right? Because if you consider these states, basically these states are already included into these Northeast, Midwest, South, and West. So if you directly upload these data sets, basically you are doing a double counting. So we have to be very careful when we are projecting a number. Now, let me just show you 0.3 in the data sets, and I'll show you the same. So if you see here, when I highlighted here, you are seeing a pound sign or a dot symbol. So what exactly it is doing, if you upload this data sets, and it's available everywhere. So you are seeing a dot symbol here, right? When you put this column into your Tableau, Tableau will treat it as text field instead of geographic data type. So we have to be very careful how exactly we are portraying our data, how exactly we are opting the data type for our columns. Let me just go back. Now we have a problem statement and we need to solve it. Now someone said that, okay, if we need to perform similar type of analysis within Excel, we have to spend 15 minutes. Those who are familiar with the scripting language, either R or Python, they have mentioned the same 15 minutes time frame. And someone also mentioned that if we have long rows or like if we have long tables, then we have to spend 30 minutes to come up with a cleanup data. Now, my take that we can perform all these operations within Tableau, that too within 60 seconds. And maybe as part of your as part of this demonstration, I might take 5 to 10 minutes, but once this demonstration is done, you can try yourself and you can perform the entire analysis within 60 seconds. And if I'll tell you, it will also take less than 60 seconds. You can perform the entire operation within 30 seconds. So let's see how exactly we can achieve it. The first operation, what we are talking about, is one of the crucial feature which Tableau introduced with Tableau 9.0 version. And they named it as Tableau Data Interpreter. So what exactly a Tableau Data Interpreter? So the purpose of this Tableau Data Interpreter is to convert your poorly formatted and unstructured spreadsheet into a meaningful spreadsheet. Earlier, like prior to Tableau 9.0, Tableau has introduced an Excel plugin and they named it as Data Reshaper. So the purpose of that plugin was mainly to take care of the pivoting. But now we are getting a lot of data challenges, lot of data issues. So Tableau improved their data interpreters quite a bit, and they have defined the interpreter in such a way which can directly convert your messy data into a meaningful information. And at the same time, it also gives you 100% control where you can decide whether you want to make these changes or not. So don't worry, whatever changes which you are doing, you can undo it. Now, for performing a data cleanup, what all process we need to perform? First one, we will be doing pivoting columns. Second one, we need to reformat the data. Now, third one, what we will be doing, we'll be using a splitting cells, because we know if we include a geographic field as part of our analysis, we will not be getting a geographic data type because of that dot, which is present as prefix for all the states name. So we will be using a splitting operation. Now, once the splitting operation is done, we need to convert that column into a perfect data type so that we can generate a map, or we can generate a longitude and latitude based on those columns. Now, there are a couple of columns which are unneeded. Like, as I mentioned earlier, we need to avoid double counting, because if you include all those, if you do a cumulative sum of all the states population, it will give you the same output which you are getting from your regional information, which is like northeast, southeast. So your US states are divided into 4 regions, and the same information we are showing as a cumulative value. So instead of performing a double counting, we have to be very, very careful what numbers we are showing. Now, let me just show you within Tableau. So I'm opening my Tableau. So I'm using Tableau 2020.2. So let me, so again, just a small brief up. So whenever you are opening a Tableau, you will see 2 types of options. So those options is like to a file and to a server. So what exactly these options are? If your file resides in your local repository, it can be your local C drive, D drive, or E drive, you can directly import that data by using a to a file option. So all those files which are sitting on your local computer, you can use these options, and you can see all those file types which you can use. So it can be a Microsoft Excel file. It can be a text file, which is like comma separated value. Third one is JSON file, PDF file, spatial file, statistical file. If you are doing some sort of modeling by using R, you can incorporate all those files by using a statistical file. Now, for our analysis, as we know, the data which we are using are basically part of Excel. So we'll click on Microsoft Excel. I'll go to that, where it is. Yes, this is the data set. Now look at that. Now, the moment I uploaded the data, let me just put it here. So you can see. Now let's talk about the challenges which we discussed earlier. So the column names, the actual column names is like estimate base 2010, 2011. But the moment you uploaded this data on Tableau, you are seeing a lot of null values. So without making any changes, if you go here, you will see the same type of column names which you are seeing here. Now, can anyone perform any sort of analysis by using these type of columns? No, right? Because we are having no idea what this column represents. And if you see, all are having text data type, which is a string data type, and all are having measures, right? An integer. But we don't know what is F1, F2, F3. If you go back to the data source section, you will see lot of null values. And it's not only at the beginning of this data set, you can also see, if you go here, if you see at the bottom, you are seeing lot of null values as well. Okay, now how exactly we should remove these? How exactly we should use these type of analysis to come up with a meaningful column name, first of all, then only we can decide what kind of analysis we want to perform. Now, once you have this data, we can definitely consider this data as a bad data or a messy data. Now, as I stated, how exactly you can perform the entire operation within 30 seconds or within 60 seconds. Now, once you have this data sets, you will see just on my extreme top left, there is an option called use data interpreter, right? Now, at this point of time, I haven't checked this option, right? This particular checkbox is unchecked now. Now just see, and just if you want to start a counter, you can definitely do that. Now, if I click, and you will see there are a lot of changes Tableau will do, that too within 2 to 3 seconds. Okay, now I am clicking this. Now I started clicking. The moment I checked this one earlier, so let me do it one more time. So earlier your data looks like this. The moment you clicked on this particular option, use data interpreter, you will see the entire messy data set. Tableau converted that messy data sets into a meaningful column name. I'm not saying that this is the end result. What I am saying, earlier, those were incorrect output, or those were earlier you were seeing a lot of null columns, right? Now, are you able to see those null columns? So Tableau has removed all inconsistent column name or incorrect column name, which was appearing earlier. And how much time will it take you to perform? It's just within 1 second. If you want to use, you can use microseconds also. So the moment you check this particular checkbox, Tableau automatically defines a particular data sets which should be good as part of your data analysis. Now, what if you are not satisfied? As I told you earlier, there might be chances, because whenever computer is performing any sort of analysis, you should not depend 100% of their own thinking. You should also see the operation which this computer performed is accurate or not. So being a data analyst, it's your responsibility to cross verify, to validate all those operations which this data interpreter performed. Now, how exactly you can do that? If you click on, there is something called review the results. Now, if you click here, Tableau will generate a particular Excel file which gives you an idea what all operation Tableau performed. Now, if you see here, let me just increase the size so that you can read. Okay. Now, if you see, Tableau already defined some sort of information, and how cleverly Tableau gives you these idea. So these are some legends which Tableau gives you, and I'll show you where exactly these color legends are used. So this gives you an idea how exactly Tableau interpreted these fields. So if you see, and I'll show you where exactly these fields are, but let me just show you. So if you see a light pink color, you will see data is interpreted as column headers. If you see green, a light green color, data is interpreted as value in your data source. If you are seeing light green, data derived from Excel merge cell is interpreted as value in your data source. Similarly, there are others. Now, this is a kind of representation which Tableau often uses when Tableau performs a data interpreter techniques. Now, if you go here, you will see all the column names, all the color legends which Tableau used to define what operation they perform. Now, let's go back and you see that this particular operation, data is interpreted as column headers. Now, the same color Tableau is using, right? So these are the column headers which Tableau defined it as a perfect column header. Now, if you see, data has been excluded from your data source, and which particular or ignored. So there is a white background color, right? Which you can consider it as a white color legend. Now, if you see, these are mentioned as white background. Now, this gives you an idea that Tableau has removed those columns, which is pretty good, right? Because the column which we are seeing here are meaningful. Earlier, these were the columns which we don't need as part of our analysis, right? Now, based on their own understanding, based on the perfect understanding of database, Tableau reformatted the entire database. Now, you can also go through this and you will see how exactly Tableau performed it. If you are not happy, you can just revert back, or you can perform all type of changes which you want to do. Okay. Now, this is the final table which Tableau generated, which you are seeing there as well as here. Okay. Let me just close that and go back. Sorry. And you can see same information here also. If you click here, Tableau is giving you the same information and you can use it here. Now, if you see earlier, when I was defining the geographic area, you will see I discussed about this pound symbol or a dot operator, right? Here in Tableau, you can clearly see that these are basically US states, but how Tableau is considering this. So Tableau is considering this as a string data type. So you can see the data type is a string. Now, if you go back, at least you can see some meaningful name. I am not saying that this is the end result. What I am saying that at least you started getting some meaningful names, right? You can use these names as part of your analysis. You can definitely do that. But if you do, so let's take an example. I'm using a geographic area. Now, as I stated earlier, Tableau is not considering this field as a geographic data type. Why? Because this particular field has a dot operator, right? So we have to convert that. How exactly we can do that? So the simple operation, right click here. And if you see, let me just go back to my presentation. And here you can see there's an operation splitting cells. We'll perform this operation here. Now, let's go here, click on split. The moment you click on split, Tableau generated a new column where you can see where you can see a particular, where you can see a meaningful state name without that dot operator. So you have removed that dot operator and now you have correct fields, right? Now my next information, and here you can see we don't have any dot operator or any period symbol, just we don't have any period symbol for these regional information, right? So that's why you are seeing a null value. Anyhow, we don't need this information because if you do a cumulative sum of these values, right, it will give you the same output which you are getting from Northeast, Midwest, South, and West. So anyhow, we need to remove that. As we know that these columns are basically part of states, right? So we just rename, we can rename it. Sorry, just hold a minute. Sorry for the bad throw. So what I was saying, yeah. Now you can see that we have renamed this particular column as a state, right? Now the next process which we will be doing, we need to convert this column into a perfect data type which Tableau can understand. Now here, if you click on ABC, you will generate the data type. Now we know that these are states, right? So just click on geographic role and select state and province. The moment, and before performing that operation, let me go back and you can see, even you generated a state, right? Still Tableau is not able to generate latitude and longitude because the state is still having a textual information, right? Now, if you go back, if you convert this data type into state and province, right? If you convert that and if you go back, you will see Tableau has generated a latitude and longitude, right? Why? Because now Tableau started considering these column attributes as proper states information. So that's why Tableau started generating this latitude and longitude. Now, once this operation is done, and we know that if you see, and let me go back. So here you can see that, okay, we have 2010 and 2011, and we have 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, right? If you see, there are duplicate information which is coming here. Now, April 110 census and estimate base and same information is reflecting here. So we can drop these columns because if we use that, you are again doing a double counting, which we should avoid it. If you go back, so these are the two columns which we will be using, and we don't need because we just want to avoid the double counting. So I'm just hiding these two columns. So click here, you will see an option called hide. Now, in the initial conversation, someone has mentioned that whenever we are performing some sort of analysis, it's good that how exactly we are using our data sets as part of our analysis. So these are individual columns. What if you want to find, if you are interested in finding some sort of trends, how exactly you will generate these trends when these are separate columns, right? If I drag it here, you are not able to find any trend here because these are coming from individual columns. You don't know how exactly you should perform an analysis, right? So let's pivot it and we'll see, are we getting some meaningful information or not? Now, once these informations are available, what we will do, let's select each column. Now I'm selecting all the columns. Click here, you will see an option called pivot. Now, once you perform this pivot operation, right? Let's remove it. I'm just deleting it. Now, once you perform this pivot operation, right? And before pivoting operation, let me just give you a more idea. We know that these are basically population estimate, right? For an individual year. Let's rename it just to make more meaningful name. So I'm just renaming it. I'm just changing it to a particular year. So I just renamed my columns just to improve the readability of these columns. Now I can perform the pivot operation, right click, select, and perform a pivot operation. Now we don't need these anymore. So what we can do, either you can hide it or you can delete it. It will not change anything. So now we know that this is nothing but an year, right? So let's rename as year and let's change it to, so what is this? This is an population estimation, right? Right? And if you go back, let me just show you one more time. So these are nothing but a population estimation, right? And these are their individual years. So just to improve the readability of your column name, I have just renamed it like that only, right? So this is the column name which we are talking about. Now we have a meaningful column name. We have yearly information, yearly population estimation, right? Now go back. Now, if you see here, right? Now, earlier, there were so many inconsistent columns or so many dirty data, which we were not able to use. Now, just for few operation, we converted that messy data into a meaningful data, but still we are not done yet. Now here, what you need to do, just select this, click on state. I'm just selecting population, go to your SOMI and just see whether Tableau can generate some sort of data or not. Now, at least Tableau is generating some map, right? Now let's see. One moment. Now, what is, okay. So it quite often, so you might have experienced or you might be experiencing earlier, before this seminar, I was working on some other state information. So that's why Tableau is not able to identify which these states are. And it's good that we have encountered this challenge. Now here you can see Tableau is giving you an information which is called 52 unknown, right? What exactly these informations are? So this is a kind of information which Tableau gives you, which talks about that Tableau is not able to identify these state information. Now, how exactly you can rectify it? Click here, and here you know that we need to edit location. Now, if you see here, all these states names are unrecognized. The reason is the country name which my default Tableau selection is India, right? I have to change this into a United States, right? So the moment I change this into United States, you can see earlier the fields which were unrecognized, now Tableau started recognizing these fields because I have selected the correct reason. Now the moment I click on OK, you will see Tableau generated a map, right? Now, just for the time being, as part of your analysis, we just remove this Alaska so that we can better concentrate on map here. Right? I think this is good, right? Now, what we need to do, just add some more information. So I'm just adding some more information. I can just format it to millions, right? I'll add this. Now can someone tell me what mistake we are doing? So we are done with data cleanup. We started finding some insights, but still we are missing one critical information which we discussed when we were performing data analysis. So here you can see, although it's a particular year, so let me just add that year also as part of a filter so that you can think. So I'm just adding a filter and let me just, I don't know why this, okay, somehow okay, I'm not able to select, I don't know, maybe some issue on my system. Okay, leave a bit. Okay, I think there's some issue on my system. Okay, so let's take an example. we are now able to see individual years population for the United States, right? But still we are missing one critical point of it when we perform data analysis, right? So do you think that the population of California is 116 million? Now I'm just taking one particular year. I don't know, there's some issue on my system. It looks like, yep. Right? Now we are seeing for 2016, the total estimated population is 39.3 million. It can be true. I'm not saying that it's not true. But if you see the range of my population, starting from 0.6 million to 650 million, approximately 650 million, right? Now, what mistakes we are doing, if you remember, when we are counting these states, right, we are also doing a double counting because we haven't removed these regional information. That's why we are seeing these numbers. Now, what we need to do, you can remove this information, right? You can exclude this null because those are null values. When we performed a split operation, we haven't performed anything on those regional details, right? So that is currently appearing it as null. So if you exclude it, you will see you started getting some insights, right? And here you are seeing some meaningful information. Now, how exactly you can perform it? If you want a better clarity or some meaningful color symbol, so you can do that. You can use it. You can change it also. Let's reverse it so that just give you an idea. So during the start of your analysis, your manager asked which particular state is having maximum population, right? You can see California is having maximum population. After that, you have Texas. After that, you have Florida. And after that, New York. If you do the same checkup via Wikipedia or any other open websites, you will find that's quite true. California is having maximum estimated population. So this is what I was talking about and how exactly you can convert a messy data into a meaningful data. So whenever you are performing an analysis, it's your responsibility to check all your points, what all things you need to perform, how exactly you can perform the data cleanup, what all points you need to keep in mind after performing data cleanup. So these are some validation. These are some checkpoints which you need to perform as part of your data analysis journey. So this will be the end result. You can definitely come up with different techniques. You can derive a trend based on different year. Now we have a meaningful data. You can play with it and you can come up with your own analysis. So that's all from my side. If you have any question, feel free to ask, ping, or click. So I think I'm done. So if you have any question, you can reach out to me or any of the panelists. So as we are running out of time, and I'm extremely sorry if I'm taking too much of your time and if I bored you, but I'm trying my best to explain you. So just try to analyze all your data sets and try to play with these data sets and come up with your own insights, share your output with KUL TUJ group, and you can also share your information on Twitter or LinkedIn, and don't forget to tag us. So I'm just handing over to Ratish, and probably he can start the next slide. Thank you. Ratish, over to you.
Oh yeah. Hey, hi guys. So thanks a lot to Rajiv. That was such an informative session on data cleaning. Hi everyone. So my name is Ratish Warren. I have been part of the Kuala Lumpur Tableau user group since Q2 last year. I guess from most of the pictures you will see that I have been sneakily in it. Yeah, so I am a senior Tableau consultant with Ipsos, and I specialize in building Tableau dashboards, Tableau survey dashboards for clients all over the world. So we're going to have a really interesting session right now. It's going to be the fun quiz session, and it's going to be a Kahoot quiz. So if you have your phones, I would love for you to take your phones out right now. So the winning prize for this quiz is going to be some really wonderful prizes, and you will be able, I think it's going to be an e-gift voucher, and you can use it to purchase Tableau Store goodies, right? We will get in touch with you after the quiz, and you can pass us your details. We'll select the top 3 winners, and good luck. So, all right, let me just start sharing my screen. All right. So hopefully you can see my screen.
Yes, Ratish.
Fantastic. All right, thanks, Rika. Okay. All right, so if you would head on over to kahoot.it and key in this game pin. So I guess we'll give like maybe I guess 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Okay, so since there's going to be, it's just quite a few players, we'll probably just select one winner, right? All right, so let's start. Okay, get ready for the first question. All right, this is an easy one. Yeah, 5 seconds. All right, fantastic. All right, Muji, you're at top. Okay, so if you've been following our Tableau user group leaders, you would know. All right, well, we got mixed responses for this one. All right. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, nice. Okay. Wow, scoreboard keeps changing every question. Okay, nice. So most of you got oh, it's half half. That's nice. Okay. L, you're on fire. It's fantastic. Okay, next one is a true or false. So the questions are going to get much more difficult as we progress along. So I'll give you a hint. This is a 2020.3 release question. Yeah, nice. Okay. All right, L is still at the top. Ooh, double points. For those of you who are familiar with Tableau Prep, nice. So most people got it correct. And Muji has taken over. Fantastic. You got another double points question. Tricky, tricky. Wow, fantastic. So most people got it correct. Nice. Okay. Another true or false question, double points. So it's not always about whether you're answering it correct, it's about how fast you answer it as well. Nice. Okay. Oh, wow. So if you've been keeping up with the Tableau releases, you would know. Ah, so this was a difficult one. Okay. Right. Ah. Fantastic. Okay. So that was pretty tricky, huh? So it's safe to say that everyone is officially a Tableau certified specialist after this Kahoot quiz. Nice. So most of you got it correct. Fantastic. Right. Double points. Three more seconds. Fantastic. Great, great. Chitral, you're on fire. Do you though? Do you really need to? Nice. Okay, so most people are familiar with 2020.3 updates. Fantastic. Yeah, this is quite a difficult one, right? The music is definitely not helping. Nice. So yeah, I mean, definitely you can, so many ors. Wow, fantastic. Great, great job, guys. So we've got another 5 more questions to go. Nice. So most of you got it correct. Fantastic. Okay. Fantastic. Great. So we got some really seasoned Tableau developers here. YY is coming up, but Chitral is still on fire. The most important items. Ah, nice job, nice job. All right. So if you were part of our previous virtual event, you'd have known the answer to this. Nice. All right. Fantastic. No one's taking Chitral down. Fantastic. All right. And the final questions. All right, fantastic. So most people got this right, and that's it for our Kahoot quiz. So number 3 place goes to L, fantastic. Number 2 to YY, and number 1, I knew it would be Chitral, fantastic. All right, Chitral, so we'll get in contact with you after the session, and please pass us your details. Fantastic. All right. So really hope you enjoyed this Kahoot quiz. And yep, so I guess I will hand it over to Richa.
Hey, thank you so much, Latif. Amazing session. And
Thanks.
congratulations, Chitral. Do get in touch with us, maybe on Facebook, or you can just pass us your email ID and we'll get in touch with you. And you have won a prize. Congratulations, and congratulations, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And this is the last session. So what we are going to do is take a quick feedback from all of you about the session, about the day, so that we can improve. And if we can do anything better, we'll definitely try and implement it in the upcoming sessions. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully this time it will remain as shared. Give me a minute. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yep, we see it just fine, Misha.
I can see
Okay.
it.
Thanks, Celine and Ratis. Okay, so I would request all of you to go to menti.com and use this passcode and help us with your answers. So it's menti.com. It's www.menti.com. And as soon as you go there, it will ask you to key in a specific code. Oh, great. And this is the code that you have to do. If you have, by any chance, the Mentimeter app, you can do the same thing by just going onto the app. And let us know in the chat box if you're facing any challenges. So it says, how would you rate the following aspects of the event? And if you are signed, if you have already gone into menti.com, just hang in there because there will be 2 more quick questions coming up after this. So just don't log off or, close the browser. We'll give 1 more minute. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the next question, and you will be able to see that reflect onto your browser as well. What, according to you, should the next event be about? So this is the chance you can share with us your thoughts. If there is anything that you would like to learn, anything you would like to share, or any topic that you'd like to suggest, or maybe a specific time or a day you think it's better to attend a KL Tug event, anything. Okay, LOD and table calculation, nice. More hands-on session on calculation. Please keep on Saturdays, allow more time duration for hands-on session, Tableau server, embedded analytics, and level of details. Okay. We are going to give 1 more minute. Date logic and its use cases. I'm not sure if you can answer more than once, but if you have additional suggestions, you can always use the chat box. I'm going to wait for 10 more seconds before I move on to the last question. Okay, over to the last question. Any suggestions or comments to help us improve our future events? This is not necessarily on the content of the event. It can be about anything, any specific on the time duration or anything that you'd like to suggest. Or if you had another suggestion, but you could not mention there, you can obviously use this. I'm going to wait for 30 more seconds. So far, it looks nice. If you're facing any challenges with the app, just let us know in the comment. Okay, thank you so much. I'm gonna stop this voting. Oh, sorry, we have maintain TUG on Saturday or weekend. Okay, maybe others are typing too. I'm gonna give some more time. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us in today's event. And like our speakers already mentioned, if there is anything that you would like to contribute or anything that you want to share on your side, you can always reach out to us on social media as well as directly to all of us on LinkedIn. We are all very active and will be happy to help you. We are always looking for speakers, always looking for ideas, brainstorming. It can be a brainstorming session. It can be something that you would like others to know, something that you figured out about the tool, a hands-on session, some kind of a learning that you'd like to share. So do reach out to us and let us know if you would like to participate. And if you have any questions, always you can reach out to us on LinkedIn as well as on Facebook. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining.